Hey man, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I I came across a video today, or just a moment ago actually. Anyway, the time isn't going to line up by the time you watch this video and by the time I record it, post it, edit it, all that. Anyway, came across this video and it is it is John Henrik Clark, and he's talking some knowledgeable. He's talking about. Let me just put it like this. He says that according to American law, way back in the day during slavery and all that, if a person had one drop of African blood in them, basically, then they are considered a brown person. I don't like calling us black because, like, look at this. This right here, this is black. You see where my cursor is? That's black. This man is not black, he's brown. That man over there is not black, he's brown. Look at Nas. He ain't black, he brown. Look at these two. They not black, they brown. He's not black, he's brown. You know what I'm saying? She's not black. You know what I'm saying? She's brown. That's Candace Owens, so questionable. Anyway, so John Henrik Clark, I have given him basically a shout out before because he he has a lot of information dealing with um, brown folks in our history, and also the lighter pigmented folks and their history. And I'd like for you to check out this video. You know what I'm saying? Also do some more fact finding or researching dealing with John Henrik Clark, because passing on information is passing on information. And when a person has taken an extended amount of their life to research certain topics, then you got to give them some sort of credit, because it's like, yo, nowadays you can't trust what you read, you can't trust what you see on TV, you can't trust the gossip and things like that. Most of the times you have to do your own research. Alright? Now, I started watching this video over here of interviews, of Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan. Alright? And I couldn't get too consumed. I watched a good hour or two of it, but I couldn't get too consumed. You know what I'm saying? I had to change the subject and things like that. It's like with all these tabs up here. You know what I'm saying? There's just different things that I want to watch and see, just because I can't stay on this level of this ethnic divide. This it's another thing in this video where, truth be said, racism started with this lighter pigmented people. They put this vocabulary, or they put this word in our vocabulary. You know what I'm saying? They put the idea of racism in our catalog of words and definitions that is supposed to make the world go round, or supposed to help the world go round, or some shit. But there comes a point in time when we gotta rethink the way that we was raised. We gotta rethink the information that we were given as, children coming up especially in the school, public schools. It's like when you think about public schools, you gotta look back and find out who was in charge of the information that's supposed to be taught in schools. And if you go back far enough, you'll see that it was some lighter pigmented women who got I don't want to say a union, but they put together a recommended, basically the curriculum, you know what I'm saying, of what's supposed to be taught in school, or you know what I'm saying, what's supposed to be read in school and things like that, you know what I mean? They helped, make it so uneven to where when you learn something, it's just a bunch of bullshit when you grow up and you realize, hey, I've been taught a bunch of lies. So anyway, I forgot I forgot the name of them, but it was some Caucasian females who got together. Um, let's see. Since I'm on this topic, give me 1 second. Okay, well that didn't work well for me. If I edit this right, I would have showed you the search words and stuff that I typed in and scrolled down the screen and things like that. Now, if that doesn't show in the video, is because YouTube copyrighted or did something, you know, chose not to show my video. So anyway, it was something that I read. I mean, something that I saw that went into the explanation of um, these group of women that made decisions on what was taught in schools, and I forgot what they were called. They had like 3 or 4 letters inside of their name, whatever. But anyway, yeah, I try to share information, and I try to make it as even as I can, because it's like, you got to think of the continent of Africa, and as huge as it is, and if scientists went back and, or if scientists said that the oldest skeletal remains came from Africa, called her Alice, then that means that people left out of Africa to travel the world. You know what I'm saying? And to migrate around, nomadic people. You know what I'm saying? Or to become nomadic people, things like that. So it's not a thing where a person has to say it's what you call it, a conspiracy to talk about or to think that, we all come from Africa. And if we all come from Africa and evolved into the people that we are now, then, there's no reason to really be divided, because we come from the same genes. We are supposed to be some of the same people. But evolution also brought about a change in how a person was raised up. And a simple way of thinking about that is, let's say that you and I disagree about something, and we happen to be next door neighbors, and we disagree with each other so much that we had to move away from each other. Let's say I went to the west side of the town, you went to the east side of the town, and whenever I went to the west side of town, I moved near people that I felt comfortable with, and you moved near people that you felt comfortable with. And let's take it back even further and say, if we were, what if you and I were stuck in the woods? No, no, no. Let's say we had two families, or let's say we had 20 people stuck in the woods, right? And it's inhabitable. You know what I'm saying? We tried to make something work. We tried to build a town, but it didn't work. All right, and we have disagreements. You're gonna have some people that say, fuck this town. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna move away, and I'm gonna start up something somewhere else. I'm gonna live my life somewhere else. You begin to have the children. All right, and let's say 4 or 5 people, they start having children and things like that, and to where there's no incest, but the children begin to have children and things like that. You know what I'm saying? And let's say the second generation moves on and they begin to have children here and there, and then they move on and have, you know what I'm saying? So it's like a big old chain of nomadic people moving around, and that's the biggest problem with the Bible. It's like, if you starting off with just one man, one woman, and they're going to have kids, how can their kids meet anybody else in the world if they're the only ones in the world? How are they going to meet anybody else in the world to have kids? So it had to be a bunch of incest. Brothers screwing sisters. You know what I'm saying? And cousins screwing cousins. You know what I'm saying? It could be uncles screwing nieces. You know what I'm saying? It could be nephews screwing aunties. Things like that. Bunch of incest. So according to the Bible, that's a bunch of bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. So anyway, I don't like I don't like the way that the world has divided us as a people. When I say us as a people, I'm meaning the rich and the less rich. You know what I'm saying? Um, the stipulations that make a person rich isn't always monetary. It's not about money. A person could be rich in health. You know what I'm saying? A person's idea and definition of success is different. You know what I'm saying? One person may think that owning a business makes them successful. Another person who says that my business is bigger than your business may say that I'm more successful than that person who owns that business. So there's so many ways that we divide ourselves. And why do we divide ourselves? I don't know. You know what I mean? What makes me... It's kind of like saying that I feel better about myself if I divide myself from you or separate myself from you and say that I'm better than you. And I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Because all I've seen throughout my life is that no matter how much money a person gets, they're always going through this emotional roller coaster. They have their good days, they have their bad days. So I don't get it. One thing that pops to mind is the creators of And One basketball, street ball, and the guy who did most of the design, who's in charge of the designing of their merchandise. You know what I'm saying? It's like he worked himself so hard to where when you look at a picture of him, he looked older than what he is. And he got consumed with his ability to design things that, he basically only needed, one or two other people because he wanted it to be so hands-on. But as the company grew, he needed to grow as well. So he in turn went over to, I think it was China, and got with a bunch of people to help produce, all the merch that they needed to put out. But anyway, it's like, we have our own definitions of what makes us feel good. And I don't know why we got into the whole thing of I'm better than you. It's fucked up. I understand competition. It's like I was watching videos on trash talkers, the best trash talkers in basketball. And when you start talking about how Michael Jordan, his mind, his ability to play basketball and the strength that it took, mental strength that it took to push himself to be as good as he was. You know what I'm saying? The way that I just said it is different from the way somebody else would said it, because they would have said he pushed himself to be better than anybody else on the court. And what he would say it both ways. You know what I'm saying? He'd say he pushed himself to be the best that he could be, but then that goes right along with him being the best that he could be made him better than everybody else that he went up against. So when it goes to the second part, I'm like, well, he had his days. He had his good days and his bad days. He wasn't the best every time he played. You know what I'm saying? So he might have been the best him each day that he went out and played, and he didn't, play the best that he could play all the time. So there's a big difference between being the best that you can be and being better than somebody else. It's like they say, that, no matter how big and bad you think you are, there's always going to be somebody who's bigger and badder. You know what I mean? Mike Tyson said, you sit back and you have a plan until somebody punch you in the mouth. You know what I mean? It's something on the lines of that. But when I think about getting information, I think about getting information from people like, when I say John Henrik Clarke, he's not the only man, you know what I'm saying, whether it be brown or, less melanated. He's not the only man, he's not the only woman that has done research on our history as a people, as a whole. There's a lot of people out there. There's people that haven't even been talked about as much. You know what I'm saying? Have you thought about how many people have done their research and other people called them crazy and tried to erase their whole existence out of history? You know what I mean? It's like now. I ain't gonna even say it's just like now, but it's like throughout history, they've been burning books, taking books out of circulation so that people wouldn't get information out of those books to pass on to other people. You know what I mean? Back in the day, way back in the day with our ancestors, you had folklore, you had the wise man of the village, and he passed on the stories of the people that came before him. You know what I'm saying? And it was up to the children and the other families to hold on to these stories so they could pass it on as well. This is way before the internet, way before, books, way before pencil or pen or paper. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to those caves, or you look at the caves where you find pictures of people that had once lived in those caves or traveled through those caves, who wanted to leave a mark saying that we were here. You know what I'm saying? This is what we saw. This is how we lived. We want to be remembered. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever created us with a gene that no matter what, it's going to pass itself on to create another generation, one way or another. You know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say that I never have any children of my own, biologically. I could still pass on a piece of myself to somebody else by just speaking my truth. Well, I can even say speaking my truth, but sharing my thoughts and ideas with other people. You know what I'm saying? So when we share our thoughts and opinions with other people, we're sharing something that's passionate to us, something that's important to us, to somebody else. That's also a way of planting a seed so it can grow inside of somebody else. It may not be a biological seed, but you know what I'm saying, it's a piece of information that can grow. Somebody else can do more research, and they can speak more or put more information into what they learned from you or learned from me. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many different ways of looking at this life and looking at this world that we have to unthink some shit sometimes. We have to grow. You know what I mean? It's like you can believe and put your faith in something, and then boom, you'll see something that debunks all that, and you need to make a change. You need to make a growth. You know what I'm saying? To become a better you. You know what I mean? It's like practice what you know until you find more information that you can add on to what you know, or they may erase what you know, so that way you become a better person. You know what I mean? And I keep saying a better person, a better you, because if we just stop trying to learn things, then we are just putting ourselves in a box to where, we're not going to know as much as the next person. And for me personally, I have felt so ignorant so many times because I didn't know this or know that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I could have done my research. It's like instead of playing a video game, I could have had my head in a book. You know what I mean? But once again, I don't trust everything that I see, hear, or read. So, there's a lot of strange adaptations. There's just a lot of strange ways of growing, period. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm not going to make this long. I'm looking at this video right here. And it's a video that I posted a couple of days ago. And I wanted to see what somebody's response would be. But I haven't gotten, it says I've gotten 8 views on there. But no one's left me any feedback. You know what I mean? It's, as far as being a YouTuber or a content creator, it's hard to get feedback from people. I can't force anybody to respond or to leave a comment, whatever. It's always up to the person who's watching. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, check this out. I'm watching, or was watching, this gamer right here, and this is a live feed. He's streaming. He's playing with 3 or 4 other people, and this is the chat. These are the people that commonly watch his videos, and it's one of those things where you build a small community. As a gamer, as a content creator, people choose to watch you. People choose to interact with you. You know what I'm saying? So if I was to sit here and if I was to read every comment, you know what I'm saying, every whatever, there's a sense, I mean not a sense, but there's communication there. There's people, talking about what might be going on and their gameplay, or there's people that's reminding him to do certain things or whatever, or there's people coaching him to play the game or whatever the hell, or they're leaving a comment about what they hear from the other players. You know what I'm saying? So no one's forcing these people to watch Cage and to respond. And it's the same way with, me and my channel and the videos that I post. It's like, I have another channel, that's my gaming channel. Okay, here's another example. This video right here, the last video I posted on here, I asked folks, I'm like, if you're watching this, and if you want to see me play, this game in a certain way, let me know. If you want me to continue with this series, let me know. If you want me to start over, let me know. Let me know what you like to see. You know what I mean? I want to interact with the people who's viewing. Alright, and with this other channel that I have, I post, I take pictures and videos of women, whether it's random women, Instagram models, or whatever the hell. And, I have my twist, you know what I'm saying? I whatever. I got my own little way of making videos, and I try to entertain people with my view of what beauty is. You know what I'm saying? my idea of what beauty is. There's some women that I don't think is gorgeous, but there's other people that do. You know what I mean? So, once again, getting back to the main topic of this video, it's about passing on information. This video is about giving props where props is due. This video is just a stepping stone for somebody. Hopefully it'll be a stepping stone for somebody, so that way they can go and do some research and form their own opinions and share their own opinions, because that's what my main disclaimer is. Excuse me. But my main disclaimer is, I'm not the smartest person and I'm not the dumbest person. I've done my research on some things, and there's a lot of things out there that I need to, or that I can do research on. But what I need you as a viewer, what I need you to do, is to question everything that I talk about, and to do your research on all the different things that I talk about, and form your own opinion. And the most important thing that you can do is to share your opinions and your thoughts with other people, because you never know when somebody else is going to get a hold of the information that you have, and they won't feel so alone in the world, because they may have the same ideas that you have, but there's nobody else, paying attention to them. And it's fucked up to be one person out of 3, 4, 5, 6 other people, that you may know, but they look at you like you're the weirdo because you're the only one that think that way, or think a certain way. So the more that we share with other people, with strangers or whatever, the more that we find people that have something in common with us. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm not about, trying to cause a disturbance in a person's spirit, in a person's thoughts and mind, whatever. That's not me. I just want to try to balance things out. I wanted us to get to a place in this world to where we can live together peacefully with some harmony. We're not jealous of each other. We're not, there's always good, friendly competition. It don't mean that we gotta kill each other or hate each other. It don't mean that we need to be governed by people who don't get us. When I say get us, it's like, once you've gotten past a certain level in life, you don't think the same way that you used to think. So it's like, if you're like that, you need to go live over there somewhere with people who think like you, and don't bother the people who don't think like you. It's like, leave those folks alone. I think about politics. I'm like, you folks have lived your lives to get into the position that you're in. There's people who don't want to be politicians. You know what I'm saying? And since you're... Alexa, stop. And just because you're a politician, it don't mean you should be making the rules on how another person lives. It's not right. It's not fair. You know what I'm saying? It's like going to college and learning a bunch of big words that, when you look at the synonyms and see how simple, words can be. The other words that mean the same. You know what I'm saying? It's like, wow, why would you use such a big ass word when you can just be as basic as you used to be and use the simple word? It's fucked up. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here, man. And if I can do anything, it's just passing on a little something that can help a person grow. You know what I mean? So I want you to have a good day, want you to have a good night, want you to have a good morning. Peace.